Hello and welcome to another gameplay review on the Virkayu gameplay channel. And in this one we have RENGAR. It's been a while since we've had our favorite cat because ever since the rework made him just, disgustingly broken, he's kind of slipped on down the, attention tier list, but he's still been good. In the right hands, he's still been potent, and obviously the win rate doesn't always back up his power, and I think RENGAR mains, this has always been a thing that we've enjoyed. Not being too much on the radar, not being too banned out, not on the nerf list, where you can just exist with a strong predator style and, pilot gap everyone. If you're the better jungler and the better player, you will win most of your games. And so this one, I want to show you how RENGAR can be used against relatively bad players to basically smurf every single game. Now, for runes, you will see on your screen Electrocute. First Strike is still okay, but the win rate is now sub 50. Conqueror and Electrocute, I would beg you to try and use those a little bit more as those win rates are looking good. And of course, remember that burst damage and the stacking AD on Conqueror plus a healing component are really still great things that you can use as RENGAR. You don't always have to be giga rich through the use of your first strike. Now, for secondary page, we can of course go Treasure Hunter if you're going for Conqueror, but if of course you are playing the Electrocute page, then Treasure Hunter is already included, and Booties and Cosmic works on every single jungler. In the meantime, we have our Vi here starting on the bottom side, and don't forget, boot camp starts on Monday. Myself, Coach Kybit, goes to Academy, everything you need as a jungler and as a laner to become a better jungler and player, in 10 days. This week coming up, plus the next week afterwards, everything you need to know basically about jungling. We structured the curriculum to be something you can have with your VODs afterwards as well. You'll get access to everything, and it's a great thing for the end of the season. So link will be below. Hope to see most of you there. Now, RENGAR finishes his right side quadrant. Video should be live tomorrow on the gameplay, or main channel. This is the gameplay channel. About 3 quadrant clears and adapting your clear. So have a look for that if you're watching this, Saturday onward or any time in the future. But RENGAR, I think, as we have a Samira in the mid lane, as I just processed that, and the Quinn in the bottom lane. Right, nice team. No wonder we had to hard carry this. The Janna, in the meantime, has decided to roam on up to the mid lane, and we're going to get a kill on the Samira here, first blood. Flash from the Syndra, but as most RENGAR players know, Syndra can be annoying if you don't have Bush and if your Scatter of the Week is available. RENGAR, on the other hand, if you don't get going early, can kind of feel, I don't want to say bad, because it doesn't feel bad. You'll always scale. If you're a good jungler and you're a good RENGAR player, you always find a way to get your bone tooth stack, but it's nice to snowball. It's very nice to snowball, but sometimes it's just not going to be something that's really juicy available. And this was so good. The RENGAR moves up here, knows he has no pride for this crab, and Vi's going to do a full camp, probably cut in, gets hit by the plant and shown, stops bases, makes it look like he's going back to base, and then decides to cancel and shadow up here in case the Vi wants to abuse this lane prior. Also, the Riven's kind of low. So these are the little subtle things you want to think about and use as RENGAR, specifically because of how heavy our snowball is, and of course how we can really afford to spend the time, because who cares about that bottom scuttle? Now, everyone knows that Riven sucks, and of course as you jump in you get Rivened. The Vi crosses the mid lane for the double scuttle. This is very anticipated even if you don't see it. If you do, obviously even more so. And the RENGAR in the meantime can basically go for this, into this, but he is choosing to value heavily the second rotation of his Krugs into his Raptors, and I think that that's absolutely fine, because these are tier 1, and what you can do now is you go to your tier 2 Krugs, your tier 2 Raptors, and the Vi is basically going to be stuck with her tier 1 Krugs and tier 1 Raptors as well. So it's all about what you think you can get versus what you think you can deny, and reconciling these points together. I don't think they're still there, Quinn, but even so, Vi, of course, can fall back to her Gromp and to her Wolves and then reset, or she can reset here and then come on down and do it again. And with the Dragon meta kind of developing the way it is, she could potentially do that, but for RENGAR in this situation, just do your thing. Make sure you get those Krugs. We're going to float on into the Raptors here. The Janna comes mid lane again. Nice roam once more, except Renata has followed, and RENGAR, a lot of ours tonight, decides to float on in here. We get the Bush jump. We get the savagery bonus onto the Syndra, and of course we can get there for an assist on the Janna. Vi, in the meantime, has done Gromp, has done Wolves, floats to hold the mid lane here, and now we can see, press tab, right? 32 CS, that's pretty much very obvious. 16, 20, 24, yeah, you follow me? 28, you got me, and 32, you got me too? There you go. Very easy, and of course she hasn't based yet, so we know this. Now, again, if it's more of a full clearing jungle with a different CS count, you could look to counter jungle those Raptors and contest those Raptors should you think they might be going there, and that can be really potent if the Vi has based. If she has based and comes down with like 22, 24, something like that, and shows she's going here, well, then we can collapse on this. And of course, now she doesn't base. She goes straight to the Raptors. So again, this is actually something you could have thought about. Maybe she's going to stab, but I don't want to results-base it because it is weird, stupid, and dumb to stay out as the Vi has done. She was so worried about her Raptors here, not realizing that Rengar doesn't really care because he wants to get all his camps on the third rotation. And she should just be resetting, and now of course she can come top lane here and counter gank this with itemization, and she almost dies. And the Rengar is just doing his business here. We're going to get those Grumps, well, just ISO Grump. Syndra's going to use Pride and move up to the top lane. In theory, this should be a dead Rumble, but she misses the Scout of the Week, and Rengar is, of course, perfectly sequencing up. Bush Jump, what up? Electrocute proc, good night, and that's why we like Electrocute. It guarantees the death of the target you choose to annihilate. And now the Riven is back here, so we're going to go back to base. So there's a lot to be said for just controlling your camps. Now, I don't like that we kind of give this up. I think this RNG Scuttle is giga huge. I know we want to float and reset and go to the bottom side again, but remember, if you're Rengar and it's just taking a little bit to get some kills, although now we're really flying, this is huge. I think we should take this knowing the Vi's not going to be able to handle it, and she has to go back to this into base. She still hasn't based, which is just so tilting. Now we're giving her this free crab. We should have taken it. She shows up, wastes her time, and now of course you can go into this, yeet this, she's destroyed. Destroyed. And as a Rengar, this is the kind of stuff I want you to think about. And obviously the Ebola, giving us vision. Thank you so much, Riot. Now we can always jump to our Krugs, which is exactly what we need, because our bot lane never gives us vision when they walk by. She goes for the deep vision. So what I like about this Rengar is great sequencing, great reactions to the top lane ganks, tracking the Vi to a certainly respectable degree. But we haven't quite activated our Giga hunting mode, and here we go, we're doing it right now. The Janet just needs to be slowed enough. Well, we still get Glacier, but the hook is beautiful. We get the Electrocute proc. We heard Ebola. She wards there for no particular reason. The Syndra's now showing up. It is warded. She's going to steal that blue away. And we're just going to fall on over to the Grump. But we have activated Ultimate because, as I can see and as you can see, hello! Why flash? Why flash? You're dead. Don't flash. This is why I like doing master elo games sometimes, because it's relative, obviously. But if you imagine you are the Rengar, right? And whatever elo you are, diamond, platinum, gold, doesn't really matter. You want to be this guy relative to everybody else. And they will make these dumb mistakes. They really will. And this is the kind of stuff you need to look for. So great control of your house, great rotations early, and now again using the huge ISO damage we have on that Electrocute. Speaking is difficult. I'm significantly sleep deprived still. And trying to speak too quickly to get all this information at your faces so that you can become better junglers, better Rengar players, climb higher, further, faster, stronger, and all those good things. Now, again, nice kills again, 501. This is such a great Rengar template for most of you to follow, and I would like you to follow it as much as you can. Control your first clear, look to see what you can do. The only thing that's missing for me is this slap in the face RNG Scuttle is for me. Of course, the resetting does give you temper prior on this, but I'm not always, that's not guaranteed because the Vi 100% should at least base after Krugs and go straight for this, It's very dumb that the Vi kind of stays out and does this crab without buying. So that's results based if he was kind of thinking this. So I think denying that crab is pretty damn big. And then of course you can base and do the exact same thing, and instead of doing the Krugs, you just go red into that blue invade, right, directly. And then of course you can fall back to the Dragon. And now, once more, a good sequence. And again, to the top lane. Because, well, they keep wanting to rush at us, then we're going to do it. And you see the pings here, tracking the Vi, expecting the fact that she should be going to the top side here. At this point, we don't exactly know 100% where she's going to be, but the Janet is just Giga roaming level 4, and I've seen a lot of sports do this. You're dead. Why would you ult? Just slow her, get the assist, and save your damn ult for the next moment. And again, RNG Scuttle plus Herald is available. I do not like the lack of neutral crabs, camps, and objectives that we are giving up. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. The lack of these things that we are securing, because we're not securing any. I mean, this should be something I kind of want to snack. Now, obviously, the Vi is not going to be concerned about this, and there's a deep ward here, but we're not really walking that way. I kind of like going into this. Let's get that cash money flowing, Let's get that gold flowing, specifically because we don't have that treasure hunter, as I mentioned. I do like Relentless as well quite a bit, but We're just floating with the kills right now, but there's always a risk when you float with kills that at some point someone throws, you throw, there is a mistake, something happens, they get the shutdown, and now they've gotten a free dragon, they've gotten a herald here and there, they get some plates back, and you know, this snowball really is 900% just the Rengar taking over. No one else is really controlling the map like the Rengar, and he's positioning his team to be able to dominate this game. And this game, by the way, it's still 28 minutes long. You can see that, you know, when I show you games now, if it's a 19-20 minute video, then you know, okay, it's a quick snowball, but in this case, there's going to be a lot of things that we're going to have to reconcile with this kind of lead. I do think the Herald there would have been absolutely giga juicy. You can still make these plays by cutting through, and you can ignore some of your camps in exchange, but we'll go ahead and fall back and take this dragon. And again, you know, logically, if you... I thought we were going to get the kill. I just like to double jump into the kill. Can we do it again? Is she learning? Is the Jenna learning? And now, of course, we have to flash. All right, then. So that was a little bit adventurous. But yeah, you could say basically, look, there's no point doing this. Because I can reset, gank the bottom lane, and then just still control it. Like, the Vi's not going to take it right now. But I guarantee you, and this is going to sound weird, a better jungler, higher elo jungler, will know, okay, look, I cannot do this lest I be murdered on the Herald. A lower elo jungler will think, maybe he went back to base, I'll take the Herald, and he'll get it. And, you know, just controlling the map a little bit better in your elos is probably more important than necessarily saying, look, I've got this, there's no ways they can get it, I can always go kill some more people and fall back to it afterwards. There's no reason to flex souls and elders and coin flipping heralds and things like this, which to a certain degree is true, but I definitely think 9 times out of 10 you guys want this herald plus this first dragon to reconcile that with the snowball, and I think you'll have a better time closing games out as well, because more plates, more map pressure. This is warded, we saw this, doesn't really matter, we're going to ult anyway. Obviously Scatter the Weak is a thing that exists, so let's see if we can reposition nicely. Yep, there we go. And of course you have your cleanse as well, and she scatters the weak into the bush, so you position in a way that if she pushes you out, you can just jump right back in. And that's really great. That's nice. I enjoy. Super good. And now we can push this down for first tower gold. Let's see, 2 plates, 0 plates, 1 plate. Vi in the meantime is, okay, she's given up on everything, but this is definitely a situation where you see the Rengar doing this. I kind of would like the Vi to potentially look for some stuff. Really? Go look for these heralds when the enemy jungler who has a lead is living in your jungle. Like, why contest this stuff? We got a red smite. You see the damage there? That electrocute proc is disgusting. It's so much damage, guys. I think too many people have forgotten how good it is when you have a lead and you're just avoiding these big stretched out fights. Like, again, why is she here? There's so much for her to take and control to get herself back in the game, considering it's all in the Rengar's braids, kitty pack, fanny pack, tooth. He's all the gold is on him, right? And the Vi could look to offset it to some degree, but she decided, no, I don't want to do this. And I don't know why. So in the meantime, if we look at the map here, bounties are activated, although there's still a long way to go in this game. We're basically not a giga team fighting player. Seraphine Janna will be annoying at some point. The Syndra will be annoying at some point. I don't think that'll ever be an issue for us personally, but it's more about the rest of the team. So we do have full top quadrant. We push into the jungle. We see the ribbons of a pushing. We're 2 levels up. We say, yo, can we... I love it. I love it so much. It's classic. It's absolutely classic. I remember Runes Reforged in end of Season 8, and they replaced Thunderlord's Decree with Electrocute, and everyone was like, we miss Thunderlords. But I mean, as great as Thunderlords was, all I can think about is Ezreal Jungle Thunderlords, and then I just want to uninstall and become a Minecraft YouTuber, because that was just so hilariously obnoxious. So, you know, I love the fact that we can still do this when this first came out, and with all assassins, that was where we ran, right? There was no Conqueror, insofar as it exists now, but it actually literally wasn't a Conqueror. There was no Rune, because everyone was complaining they wanted Fervor, and took them a while to develop Conqueror, and that's been its own bag of disease. But look at this. This is classic Rengar stuff. It hasn't changed. The formula's the same. Have a good measured early game. Track and counter gank and abuse lanes that disrespect your damage. Try and take a bit more objective and crab control, especially those RNG crabs. But then keep that sequence, keep that quadruple control, rotate to people that you can pick off, set up deep vision, and just push jump on anyone who's out of position. Annihilate them. Always keep numbers advantage. You see here, okay, excuse me. You guys are here for Rengar, so I'll give you Rengar. You know, you can always go that treasure hunt if you like for faster snowball, but I think Relentless is just so damn good, especially against movement-based comps, or at least where there's like a Janna or something like this, or champions who do very well with movement speed. It's nice to be able to gap close, have bigger jump range, and so on. Now, of course, they're sieging down the mid lane, which is the issue. When you spend this much time playing around with your food, as my cat learns when it just doesn't kill the damn fly. And I get annoyed because I'm like, can you just kill the fly? And then he's just trying to trap it, and then it flies away, and it looks at me, and I'm like, you had it. So same kind of thing with games, you know, you kind of play with those side laners and those people that are low, and then you end up looking and the enemy team's on your inhib. So do keep your responses fluid, just, and mighty. God, it's so great. I mean, that wasn't so good because we kind of target swapped thinking we were going to kill everyone. So definitely focus on the target you're taking with the damage, man, with Electrocute. Woof, that's disgusting. We're going the classic build. There's no reason not to go to the classic build here. You straight up go your Duskblade or your Eclipse. In this case, I love Duskblade against this kind of squishy comp for sure. Essence Reaver, Lord Doms, standard stuff. Will we cancel the bag? Yeah. Yes, we do. The vibe's like, I was baiting you. Yeah, okay. Sure. I don't like that we lost a dragon again, but again. These things aren't game losing in most cases. But in some cases, they are game losing. Because eventually, you know exactly what's going to happen. Your ADC's going to die, your mid lane's going to die, someone's going to overpush. You're going to be like, guys, I need to do my quadrant so I can get my IE. And, you know, then they're baroning, and they have two dragons, and it equalizes so quickly. And if you look at the match history, always linked below, downloads directly support the channel of MOBALYTICS, by the way, every video, but the data is always there just so you can see the game, how it sort of transpired. You know, they were slow to close. End of story. They're snowballing, but this is a slow to close game, and this is why, because these little advantages we get early, these early heralds, these double dragons, their stats, their gold effectiveness, it just allows a bit more control because the enemy team now has nowhere to go, right? You know, yeah, the Vice should have taken the herald earlier when Rengar was bot side, you know, for 20 years. But if there's no herald, she's screwed, right? She missed that opportunity. Okay, that's a one shot, and we're gonna keep chasing down. That's basically another one shot. No, not quite. And that's a cleanup by the Rumble. And we have an exhaust on the Syndra as she rotates. Nice. I mean, it's basically the Ryan Choi Season 4 strategy. We're so fed. We have Electrocute. We have such a big lead. You just run at them with your R. You kind of prime your Q, right? So the animation's running. And then you leap at them. And we could do some kind of nuance over hitting your E mid-air and, of course, hitting your W. And then you use your Empowered Savagery, and then you do another rotation. And you get the triple Qs, double Qs. But Ryan Choi put it very eloquently. You press R, then you press Q, and as you jump onto a champion, you just face smash the keyboard, and they die. And that was Season 4. That's how I operated in Season 4. That's how everyone operated in Season 4. It was a good time. Rengar didn't lose his velocity stacks, you know, he just kind of held them. So you could just sit in the bush with max velocity stacks. It was a much easier time. This is much healthier. Most people won't agree, but Rengar is significantly healthier now and much more balanced to play against, but because bad players don't respect it and they just miss position, like look at this. I love this too, by the way. Getting lost in my retrospection. This is a classic, but of course with the slows, that's why the bolo is so important, because that slow allows you to gap close again once the CC finishes. This is huge too. Counter jungling after a kill into a wave that's decompressed, push it up yourself, force a rotation, and then use your ult to go back in to another fight. Continuously keep that numbers advantage in your favor. 16-0-3 at this point. Now, I think we should have potentially just gone straight for the red and so on, but you have to be cautious here with these barons. I mean, not too cautious, but I would be aware that the enemy team does have a bit of turnability. You don't want to coin flip a baron. I think when you have such a big lead like this, coin flipping, it really sucks. Now, Rengar Q plus Smite shouldn't be an issue, but we're getting quite low, you know? You're getting quite low, and all it takes is one CC spell, a little bit of sadness, and you die. So we pull off of it, which is a great idea. We use our ult. The slow from the Rumble ult is great. We force flash over the wall. We jump in over the wall there. That is beautiful. We're going to watch that in slow motion in a second. Triple kill for us. And we red smite. We're going to keep going. That should be... it's so close. That was very nicely done. Let's look at that again in slow motion. We don't usually do this, but I think this kind of game, it's important. Right. So we're going to R here. All right, we're going to prime our Empire Q. We're going to force that out. We're going to spam our buttons with our face. They're going to jump over the wall. We're going to jump into a tornado. But because we still have vision, we can easily jump. And of course, we have the Renata. We can easily jump over to the Syndra. Beautiful. And now we have Empowered Savagery up again. So we can flash to reposition to flash auto Q. And she just immediately dies. We reposition in this bush. We avoid the Seraphine ult. The Riven comes over the wall super late. We have, again, E and Q available. Jump on in. If you need to use both, use both. But we only need the auto attack plus E in that situation. Sorry, auto attack. From the bush jump passive, and then we use the Ebola on the Seraphine plus Red Smite to try and kill her, but she's of course a very strong champion. So really, really good fluid mechanics. And Rengar guys, Rengar players, Rengar pilots, Rengar savants, Rengar studiers, Rengar are beautiful players, people and things. It's all about the pilot gap. It's all about how quickly you can use your mechanics, my friends. It's all about how you can read a situation to reposition yourself and dominate a situation. I know I'm not making a lot of sense right now, but hopefully you can get, I can hear it. You know, I just haven't slept, so I'm trying to get to a point, and I'm not sure where the stop on the train is. The ultimate point is, if you are fluid with your mechanics and you can adapt to situations in tight quarters with your bush jumping, you're going to have so much fun. You're going to have so much fun. And you know those cooldowns without looking. You know, that's a thing. Your build, your haste, your champion, those combinations will give you a certain unique feel on cooldowns. Now here, this is exactly what you're trying to avoid. We saw the move up here, so this is definitely a bit lazy. The Vi goes super deep, but now she's way too deep for us, and we're going to survive because the W is a great spell. Quinn's split pushing on the bottom side. The Rumble gives us an ultimate protection, and then we're going to yeet over to the walls for some safety and some healing. We're going to pull out that Gromp. We're going to get some healing ourselves. We're going to see they have to respect the Quinn, who's not going to use her flanking position. Again, excellent base split pushing. Based split pushing. Samira's going to go in, get some kills, and we're saying, wow, team. Wow. Thank you so much. And Rengar, here he comes. I'm fast gamer. Bah. Wasn't very necessary. Now we can fall back to Alberon, I think, with the Quinn. Yes, we can. Boom. There you go. So sometimes a little bit of snowballing and trusting your teammates goes a long way. Now, if your team all into that fight, I don't think I'm much caring because you're so fed, you can always base and just contest the Baron and kill them. Or if they go for the Baron, you can just push up an inhib. With your Q now hitting towers again, like the good old days, it's absolutely fine. Don't full clear here. Don't do this. Red and into action. Use your R for scouting. Yep. Yep. This is it. Ward placed. That ain't gonna do nothing. That ain't gonna do nothing. Nothing it does. Great ward though. Definitely did things. So if you fall back into this basic habit of kind of farming your jungle, which again I covered in a video on the main channel, it's dumb because now your whole team wants to push with the Baron and you're like, wait guys, and you're just behind the play. And always take a camp, sync up with your team, look for those plays. Excellent flash bush, jump into Heidi, ball the virus, and unfortunately it's not enough to kill her, but that's okay. We'll take those flashes. We lost ours too, but always worth a cheeky look. We'll steal her red. This is great. We're just getting in. Now, the difficulty to close in this situation is because we're not a very good siege comp. We don't have as much range from our ADC position. We have a Samira and a Quinn, but they're outranged significantly by the Seraphine, Janna, and Syndra. And of course, they're susceptible to all lanes being a little bit squishy from the Seraphine ult plus the Riven CC and the Vi ult. So our team is kind of struggling to siege these towers. So a little bit of 1-3-1 split or 2-3-0 split can go a long way. And of course, using your ult as a zoning tool is huge because as soon as you split 2 away from the mid lane and there's 3, the enemy team's whole power the enemy team's whole power is engaging 5v3. So what you want to do is create this pressure and then ult back into the mid lane, and ideally we're one-shotting somebody, which is exactly what we just did. So super good. And now we're kind of just leaving our team here a little bit saying, hey, we should base or back away. I mean, in a high elo setting, this is fine because you kind of know they're going to do it in base, but I think we can all agree in silver, hell, even in diamond, your team is trying to end right now and dying, and you're going for the big home run itemization spike, you know, for the fun and for the montage, but your team are dead. So I would prefer to kind of swap on down to this lane and push it out again in this one, just to get at least 3 towers. You know what I mean? 3 towers is pretty big, but if you're going for the clickbait and you need that IE, then of course do this. But bear in mind, you might lose the game. So again, that ward's not gonna do shit. Oh my goodness. You see, the bowler is so important to hit. I know we like to meme the face smashing when you jump on with your Q and you kind of want to hit everything, but the E is the most important one because of the slow around bushes allowing you to get back in super quickly once their gap close or their CC on you has expired. And that's huge. So I don't think we should be running down the mid lane at all, obviously. That should have been solved for us. We did have to give up a dragon because of our lack of objective control. There we go. We can 1-0 for this. This is going to push by itself. Our team don't really need us. No, they can't 1v1 us. We're 18 to level 13 Riven. We can just Q this tower and say nope. Again, the slow, the red smite again. We are waiting to see what we can do. Now we're using... I wouldn't have ulted that Vi. I wouldn't have queued that Vi. That's a big mistake. So here you just kind of push and then ult to Shadow so your team can kind of siege. Because they have to respect your ult. This is a great look at what Rengar can do to close games if your team has low siege. And if the enemy team wants to scale, you know? I mean, there you go. We hit it, we hit it, we hit it. GG's. So, nice. Typically here you can just go and push this now, and you can push this, and you can just end the game. So, really nice, well-rounded game to show you how a good Rengar player against less than optimal players can absolutely giga thrive with Electrocute and this full damage build, classic build obviously. Be aware that you might regret not focusing objectives enough in a lower elo game. Definitely good stats for us. And in a game like this, getting an Elder at 30 where you can't end and your team can't end can be pretty juicy. You know, as long as you get it and you play properly, but there is a bit of coin flip involved in that, so I'm not going to necessarily always encourage it, but hopefully you understand my meaning. Apologies for the verbal diarrhea at some point. Hopefully it was an enjoyable, fun game and you learned something. Please do like, share, and comment if you did. Subscribe as always. See the main channel for even more Giga Effect stuff. And as always, I will see you all in the next video and hopefully in the bootcamp.